You're listening to the Cool Audio Podcast, your escape into the world of stories, sounds, and imagination. Whether you're driving, chilling at home, or just need a moment to unplug, we've got a story just for you. So sit back, relax, and let the journey begin. What plans can I have? I'll go back and continue running errands. Melody pouted. You sound as if I did wrong with you. To be honest, you should feel honored to run errands in my Imperial Star. Many people want to do that and can't. After all, even the people running errands earn a salary of over $5,000 a month, not including the benefits of insurances and the Housing Provident Fund. So you mean I should be grateful to you? Seeing Justin turning narcissistic again, Melody was exasperated. Of course. So, after I return, I'll work harder to run errands. It's the true meaning of life. Those stars seem to live a fancy life surrounded by admirations and praises, but the pressure they face is 10 times or 100 times heavier than that for an ordinary person. To be honest, I always hear them say they'd be happier running errands in Imperial Star with a fixed salary. They just say it. You can't take it seriously. President Cooper, you're the big boss of a large company. How can you believe this BS? Haha. Melody laughed at Justin's naivety. Not everyone cares for money, status, or reputation. Doing show business isn't easy. Look at Cody. Retiring while he was at the peak of his career was a good choice for him. I admire Cody's decision, but people are different, and different people want different things, Melody said feelingly. What about you? What do you want? Justin looked at Melody's slightly haggard face curiously. One can't say the woman wanted nothing but money and fame. After all, she had been hard-working and low-profiled either as a trainee or running errands in the performance department. She didn't look like a woman who always craved for things beyond her reach. But on the other hand, she seemed to love money very much. Thinking of her contradictory behavior, Justin was puzzled. He had seldom paid attention to Melody. Now that they were talking, he wanted to know what she wanted the most. Hearing his question, Melody's eyes shifted a bit as if she was touched. At last, she decided to tell the truth. What I want is simple. I don't want to be famous or popular. I just want a passable income. I'd like to get a role as an extra if I can make enough money so my parents don't have to live a hard life. You care for your income so much. I didn't expect that. After all, you don't come from a poor farmer's family. Justin was curious why the girl cared so much about her income. Even the university graduates coming from the countryside would focus on the career prospects instead of current income when they looked for jobs. Melody came from the big capital city and shouldn't be so nearsighted. My parents are not poor farmers, but not rich people either. They are ordinary working class. My mom is very honest and has never had great income as a teacher. They have lived frugally on their small income and sent me to the expensive dance academy. Now I know I was a burden to them. Justin didn't speak, but began to understand her mind. She continued, When I was little, I didn't understand their hardship. I only knew that I loved dancing and didn't want to give it up. I never considered if my parents could afford it. Once when I came home from the academy on holiday, I opened the fridge and found their usual diet was cabbages and potatoes. They only bought good food when I went home. To realize my dream, my parents ate cabbages and potatoes for many years. Shouldn't I repay them? Melody wasn't prone to tears, but for some reason, her eyes teared up at this memory and her voice choked up. She swore she wasn't acting in front of Justin. Her heart ached whenever she remembered that scene. It was why she left her hometown to go to a strange city to run errands in Imperial Star and put up with bullying. Justin was touched by her words and realized his previous impression about the girl was wrong. He had thought she was vain and loved money due to her youth, but now he knew she had a reason to love money this much. It was all for her parents, so who was he to judge her? Chloe is good to you. I guess she introduced you to Zion, right? Yeah, Sister Chloe is very good to me. Yeah, Dr. Green is good to everyone. At the mention of Chloe, Justin smiled tenderly. But I'm afraid I have to let her down. Let her down? Justin was puzzled. I promised Zion to work in his new series, but I can't make it since I'm wounded. I'm not a big shot, so I can't ask them to supply a double for a supporting actress. I told his agent that I have to give up the job." "You gave it up?" Justin was surprised. "Yeah, I don't want to inconvenience them. It's better to give the chance to another actress. Everything has to wait until my wounds recover." Justin felt bad. After all, Melody had to give up her work in Zion's new drama because of the car crash. For a new performer like her, it was a great opportunity to show her face to the public. If she was lucky, she might get famous overnight. But she had given it up, with a good reason. Justin began to know Melody better. Then, his face changed a bit. Melody. What? You can get out now." "Why?" I need to relieve myself." Justin was embarrassed to talk about this with a girl. "I'm the only one in the room who can help you, and you want me out?" Melody stared at him and asked, "You're sitting in the wheelchair. How can you help me?" Justin rolled his eyes. "Then I can help you relieve yourself with a bottle." Melody giggled. "Get out of here." "Fine. No kidding. In fact, my wounds are not so bad. I can stand up slowly and help you to the washroom." "The problem is I can't stand up," Justin said helplessly. "Maybe I'd better help you with a bottle. Look, there's a mineral water bottle here." Melody took up the bottle from the table. There was still some water left in it. "Get out of here now." Justin's face turned dark. He just couldn't understand how such a weird woman could exist in the world. Didn't she know shame at all? "President Cooper, are you sure you didn't time travel from the ancient times? Now it's the modern era. Besides, you're a patient. If all the male patients are as shy as you are, how can the nurses do their job?" "The problem is you're not a nurse," Justin argued. "The problem is you'd rather let a nurse take advantage of you but won't let me do it. I'm your employee. Don't you think you should give the benefits to your employee?" Justin was stunned. Damn it, how could this be counted as employee benefit? "Melody, do you know how shameless you are?" "If my answer is no, will you let me help you?" Melody continued to test Justin's patience. For the first time, Mr. Cooper was rendered speechless. At this moment, Mrs. Cooper came back with heated bone soup. Justin looked so relieved as if he caught sight of his savior. "Mom, you returned just in time." "What's up?" Mrs. Cooper smiled at the two young people. "Get her out of here now!" "Did you fight with Melody again?" "How dare I do that? Please get her out of here. I can't wait anymore." Justin was desperate. Hearing his words, Mrs. Cooper looked confused. Before Justin's resentful eyes, Melody was pushed out of the room by a nurse. When she came out of the door, she chuckled. Who said Mr. Cooper was a leering guy who was in desperate need of women? He looked super cute when he was shy. After work, Chloe remembered the thing Sarah asked of her and ordered her chauffeur to drive her to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. He called Noah, but he seemed very busy. "Chloe, wait a minute. I'm in a meeting and will come out very soon." Noah hung up the phone and ordered his people to take good care of Chloe. A young police officer brought Chloe a glass of warm water. "Please wait a minute. Our chief will come very soon." "Okay, thank you." Chloe took the glass with a smile and thanked him. Then a thought dawned on her. She asked, "Officer, can you tell me who is Octavia?" "Octavia? Oh, she's over there." The police officer pointed. Chloe looked toward the direction he pointed but saw no one. "Huh? Where's she? She was here a moment ago. I guess she went to the washroom. Please wait a moment and she'll be back soon. Do you want me to call her to you?" Since Chloe was their chief's guest, the young officer was very attentive to her. "Oh no, thank you." "Okay, I'll get back to my work." "Okay." After the young police officer was gone, Chloe sat down and sipped warm water while waiting for Noah. Seeing her bodyguards waiting outside the door, many nosy people in the office began to gossip among themselves. "Hey, look, she's Mrs. Dawson, the wife of GK Group's president." "Really? But she looks ordinary. She's not a beauty." "Yeah, but she has abilities. I heard her husband loves her very much. Look, she's pregnant again. It's said her bodyguards follow her everywhere. I thought it was a rumor, but now I know it's true. Look, there are 6 bodyguards at the door." "Yeah, I heard she and her husband are good friends with our chief. Oh no, they are childhood friends. They've known our chief for many years. No wonder people are so respectful to her. I envy her. She's got everything that a woman can wish for. As they gossiped, Octavia returned from the washroom and walked slowly to her desk. With one glance, Chloe knew the girl was a beauty. She could see her exquisite face even from a distance. Huh? She's indeed a beautiful girl. No wonder my Sarah is so worried. Chloe smiled faintly. At this moment, Noah walked out from his office. His police uniform jacket was unbuttoned, revealing the black t-shirt underneath. Despite his young age, Noah had stayed in the bureau for years and cracked many big cases, so he was well respected by the other police officers. Chief Ace. They greeted him as he walked past. Chloe didn't speak. She just watched silently. Sure enough, when Noah walked past Octavia, the woman stood up immediately. Chief? What is it? Noah looked casual, not as enchanted by Octavia as Sarah had described. You must be tired working overtime. I made coffee for you to freshen up your mind. Thank you. Noah took the mug of coffee and walked on without a pause. Behind him, Octavia gazed at him with love in her eyes. Seeing the scene, Chloe had her theory confirmed. It seemed to be a story about a girl's unrequited love for her boss. Noah was young, handsome, vigorous, and steady with his work. Despite his young age, he was in a high position and had the lofty air of a guy coming from a family of high-level officials. The young girl just graduated from university and was protected and praised by many male colleagues, but she was only interested in her boss, even though she knew he was married with a son. At this thought, Chloe felt no matter how beautiful a girl was, she'd look ugly when she became the other woman. Chloe. Noah walked to Chloe's side. Are you finished with your work? Yeah, I worked overtime at a meeting. I told you if you need me, just call me and I'll go to you. Why did you come here? Noah took a seat across from her and put the coffee on the table. Chloe glanced at it and saw it was a mug from Starbucks. It seemed the coffee wasn't made casually as the girl claimed. She was very thoughtful. Oh, it's fine. I just came up on my way home. You're pregnant, so you'd better not run around like this. If something happens to you, how can I explain to your husband? He'd chop me into pieces, Noah said with a chuckle. The police officers around them were stupefied when they saw their solemn chief talk so animatedly with a woman. Octavia kept glancing at them. How is the investigation going? We found something. What is it? Chloe was a bit excited. I told you that Tim, the truck driver in Justin's crash, had once adopted a child, but later returned the child because he couldn't afford to raise him. Do you remember that? Yes. The boy is very probably Tim's biological son. A few years ago, he lived with a woman working in a hair salon for a little over a year. After the boy was born, the woman saw Tim had no money and left him. How about the boy? The boy has a congenital heart defect. Tim delivered him to the charity house and then took him back. Later, he sent the boy back again. This man is really... Chloe didn't know what to say. This guy didn't deserve to be a parent. He sent the boy to the charity house and then got him back. Did he think the child was a toy? The suspicious part is that the boy got a big amount of money from a mysterious source to have heart transplant surgery 1 week before Tim's accident. Oh? A big amount of money? Chloe raised her eyebrows, realizing it was indeed an important clue. Yeah, a big amount of money. How much? Chloe asked. 1 million. It's indeed big, Chloe nodded. I found it very weird. Tim's son hadn't had any financial aid in the past years, and then all of a sudden, he received money to do the surgery. I went to the charity house and asked about it. They told me that the mysterious donor specifically asked the child to take the surgery. Isn't it a bit too coincidental? So, as I suspected, Tim was ordered by someone to hit Justin on purpose. The money is the payment for the job. Yeah, I think so too, Noah agreed. Did you investigate the source of the money? Yeah, it's an anonymous account. That's more suspicious. It seems they anticipated we'd investigate it, so they erased all the clues. Chloe's tone was heavy. Yeah, so I think your conjecture is right. The car crash wasn't an accident. Someone planned it. But is it possible that they targeted Melody and Justin was just an unlucky victim who happened to be in the car? Heh, that's impossible. Chloe chuckled. It's possible. I did some investigation and found Melody got involved in some conflicts with her colleagues in Imperial Star. You can't underestimate the fights among female celebrities, Noah guessed. But Melody isn't famous yet. Who'd spend a fortune to kill a newbie? Are they insane? Besides, everyone in the city knows of Justin's car and his plate number. I don't believe those people would have dared to kill Melody while Justin was with her. You have a point. So it seems someone wants to kill Justin. Yeah, someone wants him dead. Chloe was worried. I'll have a good talk with Mr. Cooper and see how many enemies he has. Noah chuckled in resignation. It's not necessary. I think he might not know it himself and can't give you any useful information. Besides, he's still in the hospital. We'd better not tell him what we found. You and Jack are indeed a couple. He said so too. My husband said that too? Chloe was surprised. Yeah, Jack attaches great importance to the issue. He's investigating it too. Of course. It's a time bomb. If we can't detect it, there might be more attempts on his life. Mr. Cooper is always careless, but we must help him bring his enemies out of the darkness and get rid of them. Have you had supper? I can treat you with a meal, but Sarah has my bank cards, so I can only pay for your meal in our cafeteria. Forget it. I'll go home for supper. I wouldn't mind a meal in the cafeteria, but my baby might complain. Haha. Fine, go home. We can have an appointment for dinner when you guys have time. Noah chuckled. By the way, is that girl a new employee in your office? She's very pretty. Chloe glanced at Octavia's direction and asked casually. Oh, you mean Octavia? She came in June, just graduated from the Public Security University. She's pretty and could be a star. It's a pity that such a pretty girl is working as a police officer. Chloe mentioned the girl's beauty purposefully as she watched Noah's reaction. You think she's pretty? I think she's ordinary. Maybe we men have different senses of beauty. Noah touched his nose, wondering why Chloe suddenly brought up the topic about a minor police officer. Does she have a boyfriend? Chloe asked again. Noah was surprised by Chloe's question. I truly don't know. I'm their boss and don't gossip about their personal life. Noah scratched his head and chuckled. With a smile, Chloe studied his face and confirmed her suspicion that Noah was oblivious of the girl's designs. It seemed Sarah had met a powerful rival because even her husband wasn't aware that a pretentious batch was trying to steal him. Chloe was almost certain that Octavia's interest in Noah was unrequited. She was trying to use details to draw Noah's attention and rouse his interest. Obviously, she had just begun. Sarah was right to be wary because it was better to get rid of her rival in love before she got more blatant with her efforts. Hey, why did you ask that? Chloe, you're acting a little strange today. Noah wasn't stupid. He felt Chloe was asking a lot of irrelevant questions today. Oh, we have quite a few excellent single male doctors at Southside. As their leader, I always keep an eye out for single pretty girls for them. You're a good leader, caring for your employees' personal lives. Noah chuckled. Then he turned his head and called out, Octavia, come here for a second. Coming, Chief Ace. Hearing Noah call her name, Octavia immediately strode toward them with a standard smile. Chloe had to admit that the girl was pretty even at close range, and her smile was comfortable to look. It was hard to believe that behind this pretty face was a scheming batch. Octavia, do you have a boyfriend? Noah asked without ceremony. Chief Ace, Surprised by the candid question, Octavia blushed. It doesn't matter. Tell us the truth. No, I haven't had a boyfriend since I entered university, Octavia said in a small voice, meaning that despite her pretty face, she had remained single for a long time. Chloe asked with a smile, Octavia, do you mean you had a boyfriend before you went to university? With an uneasy expression, Octavia explained immediately. Not really. In high school, an straight-A boy in my class and I liked each other. But at that time, we both focused our minds on studying. Then we entered universities of different cities and we just drifted apart. Chloe's eyes turned unreadable when she heard the woman answer her question with great expertise. No wonder Sarah wasn't the woman's match. With Sarah's personality, she'd never be able to deal with this high-level scheming batch. It's great that you have no boyfriend. My friend here wants to set you up with a guy, Noah interrupted. Octavia's smile froze. Chloe explained, We have some very excellent male doctors at Southside and they are still single. Miss Octavia, I saw you and found you quite outstanding. So I asked your chief ace about you, but he didn't know if you were single, which is why he asked. I hope you're not offended." "Not at all. You're very kind." Octavia was very polite to Chloe, showing them her good manners. "Octavia, you can talk to my friend later and she can set up a blind date for you." Noah looked enthusiastic. Chloe looked at Octavia with a smile, wanting to see how she'd respond. She knew the woman wouldn't agree to a blind date, especially in front of Noah. Sure enough, with a smile, Octavia glanced at Chloe and then turned to look at Noah. "Chief Ace, I'm sorry, but my family doesn't like the profession of doctors. When my grandmother was at the last stage of cancer, my family had some conflicts with the doctors at the hospital in our county. When my grandmother passed away, my family thought the doctors were not professional and didn't do their best to save my grandmother just because we didn't give them the bribes they had demanded. Ever since then, my dad has had a strong prejudice against doctors. Someone tried to introduce a doctor to me, but my dad didn't let me date him." Octavia had tears shining in her eyes, making people think it wasn't a story. Of course, it wasn't totally made up. She just exaggerated it to achieve desired effects. Chloe saw through this trick in one glance, but Noah bought her story. "Oh, I see. That's unfortunate." Noah showed his sympathy with a solemn face. "If that's the case, then forget it. I'll see if I can find other single guys for you." "Thank you, Vice Director Green," Octavia said with a smile. "Octavia, you can go back to your work now." "Okay, Chief Ace." Octavia nodded and returned to her desk. Chloe had an initial taste of the skills of this high-level scheming batch and was impressed. The girl was a good actress. After Bella died, Chloe hadn't seen a woman with such depth. She looked docile, but the biting dogs usually didn't bark. Chatting with Ace for a while, Chloe returned to South Hill Manor. She played with the kids for a while and got tired. When she was about to go upstairs to her room, Jack came home. "Honey, lately you leave home early and come back quite late." "Yeah, the company is busy with the acquisition of a pharmaceutical company. We're doing the appraisal." "A pharmaceutical company?" Chloe was surprised. "Yeah, a company producing biological drugs. One of its food supplements was exposed to be a scam targeted at elderly people with unreasonably high prices and lower content than they advertised. The big boss has fled to the States, leaving his son and wife to clean the mess. They know it's impossible to reverse the trend and decided to sell the company." "Why are we buying it? We've never been involved in the pharmaceutical area, right?" Holding Jack's arm, Chloe walked upstairs with him. "We were not, but we're now." "Why?" "Because our Vice Director Green will soon be promoted to the position of director. After I purchase the pharmaceutical company, I'll sell drugs to your South Side and the first hospital." "What do you think, honey? Will you do me the favor?" Jack teased her. "Humph. You'd never be interested in this tiny income. Tell me why you want to buy it." Chloe knew Jack never cared for money. He would never purchase the company just to make money. "Honey, don't you think the drugs on the market are priced too high?" "Yeah, I do." "Don't you think they're cutting down on the effective contents in the drugs? For example, one only needs to take one pill to cure the common cold, but now one needs more than one box of pills to achieve the same effect." "That's true. The domestic drug market is now in a mess." Chloe had worked in the hospital for years and knew the hidden rules of the drug industry. "So, I want to operate a pharmaceutical company that produces drugs at reasonable prices and enough efficacy even though the profits are not high. I hope people don't get intimidated by the drug prices." "Wow, honey, you're truly great." Unlike saintly people, Jack only cared for the people in his family. He had no interest in the outer world. So Chloe knew there must be a reason behind this decision. "President Dawson, tell me the real reason behind your decision to purchase the pharma company." Chloe stopped Jack and tried to get the secret from her husband. "Do you really want to know?" Jack lowered his head at her with love in his eyes. "Yes, I do." "Then kiss me." "Honey, where did you learn this trick? You even dare to blackmail me." Chloe placed her hands on her hips. "So, do you want to know it or not?" "Of course I do." Chloe pecked on his cheek swiftly. "Not satisfied," Mr. Dawson said. What do you want? You must kiss me on the lips, Mr. Dawson demanded. Please. This is a public place. If your parents, the kids, or even Uncle George saw us, it'd be embarrassing. Chloe glanced around the corridor of the second floor. They were indeed not alone. So we can return to our bedroom. Before Chloe could reply, Jack pulled her into the big main bedroom on the second floor. Now we're alone. Mr. Dawson closed his eyes expectantly. Chloe was between laughter and tears. She knew she'd never get the answer if she didn't kiss him. So she placed her lips on Jack's mouth. For some reason, even though they had been together for years and had 2 kids, whenever she touched Jack, she'd still feel shy and excited, as if it was their first kiss. People say a couple would find touching each other as bland as touching their own hands, but Chloe thought it was bullshit. After all, she still felt the excitement. Honey, can you tell me now? Chloe pursed her lips and cooed. Come and sit here. Jack patted his thigh and asked Chloe to sit on his lap. Chloe dragged her heavy body onto his lap and sat in his arms like a koala. Jack held her in his arms just like before. A while ago, one employee applied to draw his salary in advance. He asked for $300,000, so it needed my signature, said Jack. What level is the employee? A programmer of the lowest level. His salary is about $8,000 per month. Then $300,000 is a lot. It's almost 4 times his annual income. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to approve it since we've never done that before in the company. But later I found his child has leukemia and needs lots of money to have a bone marrow transplant. Didn't he buy insurance for the kid? Chloe was puzzled. No, he came from a mountainous area and his parents are both farmers. They thought insurance was a scam. That's unfortunate. Chloe felt pity for them. Yeah, so he had no choice but to apply for advancement of his salary from the company. But I didn't sign it. Huh? You didn't? Chloe was astonished. She knew her husband was very cool in nature, but he'd never be so cold. I meant I didn't loan the money to him in the name of the company, but I loaned him money from my own pocket. Understanding dawned on Chloe, and she threw her arms around his neck, asking, Touched by this incident, you decided to buy a pharmaceutical company? I talked to him, and he told me many things I didn't know. In some poor areas, the medication is very backward, and it's very difficult for the people to get proper medical services. Some old people can't afford to buy drugs for their illnesses, so I want to do something. I don't want to call it charity because I'm not that great. I just want to do some good deeds for the sake of our unborn baby. Jack sighed lightly. If not for the incident, he'd never believed that many people still couldn't afford to buy drugs for their illnesses. Honey, what specific story prompted you to do this? Chloe knew Jack must have been touched deeply to make such a big decision. Jack sighed lightly and tightened his arms around Chloe. The employee told me a story about an old couple in his village. The children of the old couple moved out of the village and hadn't visited them for years. The old man made a living by collecting garbage and had to take care of his wife who had a mental disease. The old man got sick one day and couldn't get out of bed. Still, he didn't have money to pay for medication. After considering his options for days, he thought of a way to solve the problem. He set fire on himself and his wife, too, fearing no one would take care of her after he died. Hearing the story, Chloe almost cried. Her heart ached in sorrow even though she didn't know the old couple. People in this world live such different lives. Some live in heaven and some in hell. How about their children? Chloe asked with a sob. They hurried back and buried their parents when they got the news. Then they left again after selling the house and land. They are animals. Chloe clenched her fist and cursed in indignation. With his arms around her, Jack continued. So, Chloe, I've been thinking, if the drugs were less expensive and of better quality, there might be less tragedies like this one. $100 for one box of common cold drug is cheap for us, but it's too much for the people with low income. Yeah, I am a doctor, and I totally understand how people feel when they can't afford their medical expenses. Chloe didn't lift her head. So I plan to enter the pharmaceutical industry. But honey, if we lower the price and improve the efficacy of the drugs, the other pharma companies will hate us. There are greedy bastards in every industry. We do not interfere with their business, so if they are not happy with what we do, they can try and deal with me. Anyway, We're used to dealing with enemies. Jack chuckled. Honey, I like it when you get overbearing and aggressive. I admire you. Chloe leaned into his arms and put her cheek against his. Jack never made decisions on a whim. Chloe knew he had made careful plans for this acquisition. After the talk about the pharma company, Chloe remembered the crisis between Noah and Sarah. Briefly, she told the whole thing to Jack. Hearing her words, Jack said in conviction, I'm sure Noah is clueless about it. He's not interested in the girl. I believe you. But obviously the woman is trying to seduce Noah and even tried to create misunderstandings for Sarah and other people. She bought her clothes and shoes to match Noah's, making them look like a couple. The young girl is indeed a schemer. I can talk to old Ace and warn him about it. Jack knew Noah was a family man and loved his wife and son. If he told Noah what was happening, the problem would be solved. Hey, don't, I'll handle it. Do you want to help your bestie get rid of the third wheel? Jack's lips curved up as he looked at Chloe, who had an expectant expression on her face. Yeah, I have ways to deal with her. I'll teach the young girl a lesson and show her how shameful it's to be the other woman breaking up another person's family. Okay, our Dr. Green is the best. Now take a shower and go to bed. They were about to turn in when a loud bawl came from the other side of the door. Mommy, Daddy, open the door! It sounds to be Little Bean. Chloe sat up immediately. Jack got off the bed and opened the door. Sure enough, Little Bean was standing at the entrance with hair standing up on end like a Tibetan mastiff. With tears all over her face, she stood there in her sleeping gown with a doll in her arms. Why are you crying? Jack squatted down and picked up his daughter. Then he frowned as he distinctly felt the wetness on her bottom. Did you wet your pants? Jack was incredulous. Ever since they could walk, Pudding and Little Bean had seldom wet their pants. They could manage all their potty issues and were always clean, winning constant praises from their grandma. But what happened today? Daddy, I'm sorry. Little Bean cried harder and hid her face on Jack's shoulder. You wet your pants, Little Bean? Chloe also looked incredulous. Mommy, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Where's your sister? Jack asked her. Sis is in the room. She told me to turn myself in. Turn yourself in. Jack was exasperated at the phrase. What happened to you? Chloe was puzzled. Little Bean was naughty and loved food, but she had perfect control of her body functions. Mommy, this is how it happened. Seeing his daughter was about to explain the problem, Jack was amused. He carried her to the sofa and wiped her tears with a tissue. I was very sleepy today and went to bed very early. When I fell asleep, my sister was still chatting with Kenneth on Snap. Get to the point, My Majesty, Chloe said in stern amusement. The point is, I dreamed I wanted to pee. I looked for a washroom and finally found one. Then I heard someone whistle, so I just peed thinking I did it in the toilet. But when I woke up, Little Bean burst into tears again. Okay, it's no big deal. Don't cry. Your throat will get sore. Jack hurried inside to see her cry. Chloe, you give her a bath. I'll go and get her a clean sleeping gown and a pair of underwear. Jack left the room. Taking Little Bean's hand, Chloe brought her into the bathroom and drew a bath for her. Mommy, are you angry with me? No, you said you didn't do it on purpose. Chloe put lotion on her and answered. Yeah, it was indeed an accident. I won't do it again. Can you keep it from Auntie Sarah? Why? Auntie Sarah can't keep a secret. If she knows it, she'll tell Ethan and Ethan will laugh at me. If he knows I still wet my pants, he'll not like me. Little Bean babbled briskly. Chloe was exasperated. You have a lot on your mind. Please promise me, okay, Mommy? Fine, I won't tell Auntie Sarah. You can't tell Auntie Victoria either, or Kenneth will know and tell Ethan. Then I'd be the laughingstock. Fine, I won't tell anyone. Chloe admitted defeat to her daughter. When Jack went to the neighboring bedroom to get clothes for Little Bean, he saw Pudding was playing on her cell phone. Daddy, you came to get clothes for my sister? Yeah. Didn't you and Mommy lecture her for wetting her pants? She didn't do it on purpose. Why should we lecture her? Jack smiled. Why didn't you ask her what she did before sleeping? Pudding looked calm. It sounds like there's a story behind it. Jack narrowed his eyes and walked to Pudding's side. If you don't know it, then I won't tell you. What if I want to know? Will you tell me? Jack sat on the bed beside Pudding and placed his hand on her slightly curly long hair. With a calm personality, Pudding seldom played coy or begged for hugs from Chloe and Jack. In contrast, Little Bean always threw herself onto their thighs and begged for hugs. So when Jack touched her hair dotingly, Pudding felt a bit bashful. Little Bean brought it to herself. Bored, she played the so-called big adventure game with her classmates in the group. Anyone who loses the game must take a punishment. Little Bean lost and had to drink 2 big bottles of orange juice, so she wet herself? Jack raised his eyebrows. Yeah, but it's not what I'm angry about. I'm angry that she lost to those kids who have lower IQ than her, Pudding said with great disdain. Okay, I got it. Jack was amused by the funny stuff happening among the kids. He had been puzzled because Little Bean seldom wetted the bed. Now he knew it was because she had drunk lots of fruit juice after losing the game. Daddy, are you angry with her? Do you want me to be angry? No, I don't. Little Bean did something ridiculous, but she was scared after she wet the bed, afraid Mommy would spank her. I'm not angry with her. I won't be angry with you either, because your Mommy and I love you too, Jack explained to Pudding patiently. Glancing at her cell phone, he asked, Are you speculating on the stock market lately? Not much. A few companies got listed lately and there is some turbulence in the market. The prices are a bit too high. Smart. If you need anything, just tell me. Okay. Sleep now. I'll bring your sister back in a while. Okay. After the short chat, Jack returned to his bedroom with Little Bean's clean pajamas. Chloe had finished washing Little Bean and helped her change into clean pajamas. After Jack carried her back into her bedroom, it was 11:30. Jack didn't tell Chloe the reason why Little Bean wet her bed. After all, it wasn't a big issue for a kid of a little over 3 years. It wasn't something they should feel ashamed about. Honey, after our new baby is born, will you continue loving Pudding and Little Bean so much? Of course. They are all my children. What do you think? I'm just afraid you'll favor your son and neglect your daughters. It's not possible. People say daughters were their father's lovers in their last lifetimes. I'll love Pudding and Little Bean even more. Yeah, you got 2 lovers in your last lifetime, Chloe chuckled. Now that they're here, it means they're destined to be with us. No matter what happens, they are our sweetest burden in our lives, Jack said feelingly. With her head on his arm, Chloe thought life was sweet. She had never imagined that she'd have 3 kids. Reality was like a bad drama for her. Sleep now. The 2 kids are exhausting. You go ahead and sleep. Jack sat up suddenly. Where are you going, honey? Chloe was puzzled. I'll go and wash Little Bean's soiled pants. I wish I had a daddy like you. Chloe was surprised at how much Jack loved their daughters. At midnight in South Hill Recuperation Center, Melody was about to turn off the light for the night when she heard someone enter the room. She got wary immediately. It's you. Seeing the intruder, Melody's face turned cold. Heh, aren't you Justin's girlfriend? You don't even have a bodyguard standing at your door or a caretaker in your room. Your status is quite low. In fact, Mrs. Cooper had offered to station a bodyguard at her door, but she had declined. Melody thought she wasn't a celebrity or a big shot, so it was embarrassing to have a bodyguard to protect her. Chloe had arranged a caretaker for her, but it was late, and she had asked the middle-aged caretaker to go and get some sleep. She was astonished that Elsie would barge in at this late hour without a knock on the door. You like to mind other people's business, Melody chuckled. No, I only mind things concerning Justin. Then you must go to Justin's room. Don't tell me you were blocked by his bodyguard, so you came to take it out on me. Take it out on you? You overestimate yourself. Elsie glanced at Melody in disdain. A girl from an ordinary family, you have no great academic background or important connections. Justin likes you just because of your pretty face. Yeah, I'm prettier than you. Your only advantage is your father's position, Melody retorted. Now that they were alone, they dumped all pretense of civility. A good dad can ensure my safety all my life. How about you? You're just a bedroom maid to Justin. When Justin got in a car crash, you almost died in it. Do you think it's worth it? It's worth it. Totally. I like it, Melody said with a smirk. What do you want in return for leaving Justin? You just want money, right?
Yeah, I just want money. What can you do with me? You can act like the vicious supporting female roles in the novels and throw a check at me and order me to get out of here. If you want to pay me to leave him, you'd better offer a big number because I have a large appetite.
Elsie was rendered speechless by Melody's sharp retort. No matter what she said, Melody was never angered, but she got infuriated by each word Melody uttered. You don't mind the fact that Justin loves another woman? No, not at all. You're useless. Elsie's face was livid. What other tricks do you have? If not, move your ass out of here. Don't rub the thing about Sister Chloe and Justin on my face. Sister Chloe is having another baby and you still spread rumors about her. Aren't you afraid you'd be hit by a lightning bolt? She thought you were a good person, but soon your disguise fell apart. Melody's words hit a nerve. Elsie got furious and strode over to grab Melody's hair. She pulled it with force. Hindered by her wounds, Melody couldn't move, so she was at a disadvantage. Damn it! When I recover, I'll kill you, shameless batch! Melody cursed in fury. At this moment, the door opened and a man strode in and grabbed Elsie's collar, throwing her to the ground. Elsie almost yelled in pain. Melody, are you okay? The man smoothed back Melody's messy hair worriedly. Why are you here? Melody was surprised to see him, but she was also happy that he had come, or she'd get a good beating from Elsie and not be able to fight back. I read the stars and knew you'd be beaten by someone, so I came to your rescue, Lin Hang joked with a straight face, but Melody didn't find it funny. Behind them, Elsie smiled sinisterly and said, I knew you're not as simple as you look. You're quite capable. Does Justin know you have another man? Aren't you afraid you'd lose his favor by cheating on him? Shut your mouth. Before Melody could retort, Lin Hang walked over and dragged Elsie out of the room. He didn't show any mercy to this woman. He returned to the room and sat before Melody's bed. Are you okay? She nodded. I'm fine. I just felt a bit of pain when she grabbed my hair. Okay. Aren't you afraid she'd pay you back? Do you know who her father is? I don't care even if her father was the president. I only know she can't hit you. You look wooden, but you have a sense of justice, Melody chuckled. Are you hungry? What do you want to eat? I'll go and buy it in the cafeteria. No, it's late and I'll get fat if I eat stuff at this hour. Are you thirsty? I'll get you some water. Okay, thank you. Having argued with Elsie for a long while, she felt a bit dry in her mouth, so she took his offer. Taking the glass from his hand, Melody sipped the water while Lin Hang gazed at her silently. It's quite late. It's too much trouble to come here. I couldn't sleep, so I rode the motorcycle with some friends and then decided to come and see you. It's not far anyway. Nonsense. It's far from your auto repair shop. It costs more than $30 to get here from your shop by taxi. Melody knew it was cold at night, and even colder to ride a motorcycle. At this thought, she felt guilty. I rode fast, faster than a taxi. Lin Hang's chilly face had a smile on it. Rory doesn't know you came here, right? No, I have no duty to tell her. She has nothing to do with me. But you know how much she likes you. How can you do this to her? But you know how much I like you. How can you do this to me? Well, you are a good student and even threw my words back at me, huh? A smart girl. Melody eased the awkwardness between them with a joke. Lin Hang lowered his head with his slightly long bangs falling on his forehead. He didn't speak. Lin Hang. Huh? The money. Did you pay it for me? Melody had meant to call and ask him about it, but decided against it, thinking it was something they needed to talk face-to-face about. Since Rory wasn't with them, she asked him directly. Yeah. How much did you pay? Not much. Where did you get the money? Melody felt bad. I have savings. Bullshit. Rory told me everything. She said you don't have money. Melody exposed his lie mercilessly. Lin Hang went silent. Did you borrow money from your friends? You must return it. I don't need you to pay the medical expense for me. No, the money is mine. How did you get the money? Melody was afraid he had done something against the law to pay the expense for her. She didn't want to be the cause of his wrongdoing. A second-gen rich heir had been badgering me to modify his motorcycle, but I didn't agree because I didn't like the guy's character and knew he was not a real fan of motorcycles. He just wanted to show off. But he offered to pay $60,000. So, you agreed?
Yeah. Where's your pride? Melody was piqued.
Who can afford pride when you face daily expenses? Besides, I earned the money with my skills. I didn't do anything wrong. The problem is someone had paid the medical expense for me. You didn't have to pay it. Melody was exasperated by the stubbornness of this wooden guy. I just don't want you to use Justin's money. Melody, please don't be Justin's girlfriend.
Hearing the frank request, Melody had a sour taste in her mouth.
On one hand, there was nothing between her and Justin. They were not even friends. They were just boss and employee.
On the other hand, Lin Hung, a silent man, could render her speechless sometimes.
Justin has many women around him. If one day he betrays you, you'd be devastated. If you choose me, I promise I'll only love you for the rest of my life. Lin Hang, Rory truly loves you. But I don't love her.
I don't love you either.
Melody knew she was hurting him, but she must tell him the truth. I know you don't love me, but I won't give up and will continue loving you. Maybe one day you will fall in love with me. But you know the career I chose. I will become an actress, Melody reminded him. I know. You don't mind it? No. You're so stubborn. Resigned, Melody continued to drink water. Do you know Chloe?
She's the vice director of Southside and a young genius doctor. I heard her husband is the president of GK.
The wooden guy was well informed. Yeah, you're right. What? Why did you bring her up? Chloe is my cousin. Even if the Cooper family didn't loan me the money to pay the medical expense, my cousin will help me. So, I truly don't need your help. I told my cousin to have the hospital return the money to your bank card. No, you must use my money. Lin Hung looked determined. What? You don't want me to pay it back? Melody was both amused and angry. To convince the wooden guy, she even lied that Chloe was her cousin, but the guy still refused to give in. Of course I don't want you to pay it back. But how can I take that much money from you? I don't like to take things from people for free. You know that? Don't ask me why. I just don't want you to repay me. If you return it, I'll come back and pay it again. Don't worry. I won't force you to be my girlfriend or do anything just because I paid this for you. I'm not that kind of guy. Lin Hung was riled up and stood up to leave. Then he paused at the door as if he remembered something. He walked back and dug out a big dragon fruit from the pocket of his thick jacket. Placing it on the table, he said, I heard it's imported and has a red inside. It must be sweet. Try it. Then he turned again and left. Looking at the huge dragon fruit, Melody was stupefied. The guy was indeed weird. Meanwhile, the Ace family was not peaceful. When Noah returned from work, it was almost 10 p.m. The moment he entered his home, he felt something wasn't right. Honey, I'm starving. Noah entered the room and took off his uniform while yelling that he was hungry. Usually Sarah would get up from the bed and make him noodles or wontons even if she had turned in. But today, honey? Receiving no response, Noah walked into their bedroom curiously. He saw Sarah lay in bed with her cell phone in her hands. She was expressionless. Beside her, Ethan was playing on the iPad. The mother and son played on their respective devices silently. Why didn't you answer me? Noah asked with a chuckle. Still, no one responded. Honey, I'm starving. I haven't eaten since lunch. Noah complained and hoped his wife would get up and make some food for him. Really? Then you can starve to death, Sarah said coldly. Honey, what's wrong? You sound unhappy today. I've been unhappy for days and you didn't notice? Sarah glared at him. Are you having your period? No. It comes around the 15th each month, right? Noah scratched his head. Get out! Sarah couldn't bear the sight of him. Son, tell me what happened. Noah turned to his son hopefully, but Ethan hid under the covering. I know nothing. Honey, come here. Let's talk. Noah felt it was time to talk to his wife. For days, she had been sulky. She didn't reply to his messages during the day. He had thought she was busy, but now it seemed he had been wrong. Fine, let's talk. Putting down her cell phone, Sarah walked into the living room. Noah sat next to her and leaned over. Honey, stay away from me and don't touch me. We can only talk. Sarah was ferocious. Honey, what's wrong with you?
I'm unhappy.
With what?
With you.
Why are you unhappy with me? Because I worked too hard and neglected you? Don't be angry. After I finish this case, I'll take a few days off and take you and Ethan to Disneyland, okay? Did you do something you're guilty about, Noah? Why are you so good to us all of a sudden? Ethan has been wanting to go to Disneyland for 2 months now, but you never agreed to his request. Sarah stared at Noah sternly. I'm not guilty. That's ridiculous. I've been overwhelmed by work lately. It turned out that Chloe wanted me to investigate someone, so... Don't use Chloe as your excuse. You're only a bureau chief, but you're quite high-profile driving a Land Rover. People would think you're corrupt. Nonsense. All my money comes from my salary. Give the Land Rover to me tomorrow, Sarah issued the order. No problem. Honey, I'll drive your Q5. In your dreams, to help protect the environment, I bought you an electric car. You drive it from tomorrow on. It's in the garage now. You bought an electric car? Noah was dumbfounded. Yes. What's the brand? BYD, Sarah crossed her leg and said matter-of-factly. Honey, did I do something wrong lately? Noah knew something was wrong, or she wouldn't have confiscated his Land Rover and changed it into a BYD. Thanks for tuning in to the Cool Audio Podcast. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a fellow story lover. Until next time, stay cool and keep listening.